backdoor him, Skip. You let him get a full head of steam. He's gone. That's too much pressure on the safety. There's no way the safety can make that play when that guy has a head of steam like that.
And then late in the first half, they have no time. They have 57 seconds left, and he makes 2 plays with his feet that give them a chip shot field goal, which Elliott missed, or they could have had another 3 points. But check this out. This is just pure scramble. Easy, effortless poise. I think I'm going to go. And all of a sudden, he's beating people around the corner, and he's running for 26 yards.
Yeah.
And then he scrambles again for 12 more yards.
Right up the gut. You get out your lane.
Right up the gut.
Here you go.
Okay, here we go. Remember, he's packing a 225-pound wallop, so he's like Taysom Hill. He may not look as big as Taysom Hill, but he is delivering that kind of wallop. And they always say, pound for pound in the weight room, that guy is the strongest.
I can believe it, Skip, but anytime you're dealing with a guy that has legs like that, you never run past him.
No. Because
if you run past him, he's going to jump out the window and take off on you, and that's what they did. Normally, when you get even, you flatten out. You're like, okay, I'm far enough. And like I said, I don't know the game plan, but clearly, Skip, even if you hadn't seen a whole lot of him on tape in the NFL, you watched enough of him at Alabama, you watched enough of him at Oklahoma to know that he has legs. And if you give up contain, he will make you pay. If you run past him, he will make you pay. He didn't throw the ball particularly well, Skip. He was, 17 or 30? But when you make the kind of mistakes that New Orleans made, a kid like this, Skip, that has nothing to lose, and I think Dougie Peterson said, son, look, if your first read is not there, God gave you these legs. Take advantage of them. And he took full advantage. Skip, I'm surprised. Like I said, think about it. They've gone 3 years and not allowed a running back to gain 100 yards.
56 games.
They gave up two in the same game.
And it was because of the read option, because 82, we just saw, went to Miles Sanders on one play.
Right.
But Jalen was getting them in chunks. His 106 were more impressive to me than Miles Sanders' 115.
Because they were gut punches. Because you Skip, it was third down, and all of a sudden he had the first down. But if you look at Miles Sanders, Skip, he ran for $115 on 14 carries. He had 56 yards on 16 carries over the last 2 games. So what they did, they made a conscious effort to get. They should have gave him more. But they made an effort to try to run the football as opposed. And like I said, Skip, the line, I think the line, Skip, Jalen Hurts was able to get out of harm's way. When some of those rushes, they would have got Carson. Carson would have held on to the football trying to make something. And I think this might be the best thing to happen to him because he's going to come back in and he's going to have to realize, Skip, I just can't hold the ball. Guys that hold the ball get sacked. Guys that hold the ball end up holding the clipboard.
They do.
That's what's going to happen. You saw Big Ben when they forced him to hold on to the ball, they started getting closer and closer. They started putting him on the ground.
All right, back to degree of difficulty for this young man. Can we hear what our man Daryl Johnson said on the Fox telecast with 11:16 left in the fourth quarter? Could we just hear this just to frame what this young man, Jalen Hurts, was up against?
I've never seen a rash of injuries during the course of a game the way that they have fit Philadelphia this afternoon. This is unbelievable. Holy cow. I've never seen anything like this.
Holy cow. Darius Slay, their best cornerback, he limps out. He had a head injury. We had Avonte Maddox, their starting corner, went out with a knee. Rodney McLeod, their safety, went out with a knee. And then in order, Malik Jackson, Derek Barnett, and Josh Sweat went out of the front 7. It's so many injuries that all of a sudden it's on a silver platter for Taysom Hill to get him back in the game. Jalen did make one mistake late as they were trying to kill the clock. You just got to hold, you got to protect because they're going to try to get it out of your hands.
They're punching.
And they punched it out of his hand. But that was the only mistake he made the whole day. And even yet and still, they hung on and controlled the clock enough that they put away a team that is hard to put away, that will come back on you.
Hey, Skip, you know they were that Cowboy onside away from you. I don't know how the Saints missed it. They had 3 guys, and there was not an eagle in sight. And somehow the linebacker, Riley, comes screaming in, and he gets the ball from 3 Saints, Skip. I'm like, I know this is not going to happen again. And everybody's doing the exact same thing the Falcons did. What did they do, Skip? They back it up, and the ball somehow caroms and hit the guy's foot and bounces out. And I was like, are you kidding me? Y'all saw this play out before, and y'all doing the exact same thing.
Okay, so to me, when I add up all the degree of difficulty, I say, show me a better rookie debut under worse circumstances than that one. if we go back to Cam in 2011, he just lit it up. It just stunned the world.
Right.
But it was at Arizona. They lost the game 28-21. He threw for 422 and set a bar that he's never been able to live back up to.
Yeah.
His first 2 games were 422, and then he goes home and throws for 432 against Aaron Rodgers. But he never lived back up to that because he's never had a 400 since then.
Right.
Okay, but again, they did lose that game. And then I look at Tom Brady's first start. He got thrown into the fire, obviously, after the Bledsoe injury. They just annihilated Peyton the next week at Foxborough. It was Peyton's 4th year, and he was rolling by then. But it was more of a defensive game because Tom didn't have big numbers in that game. He was 13 of 23 for 168. So it wasn't like this degree of difficulty. That defense was probably the best defense Tom played with in New England.
Yeah, you don't normally, your first start doesn't normally come against a team that's the #1 seed in your conference and coming off 9 straight wins. That normally does not happen.
It does not happen. And then Lamar's first start, going back 2 years.
Right.
But it was against Cincinnati, you know, and they were struggling.
Ran wild.
And he ran wild. He ran for 119 yards, but his QBR was low in that game, 27. So, again, I dare you to go back through your annals, go back through history, and you might be able to find one because this is vast. This is every rookie's first start, or not. Doesn't even have to be your rookie year. It could be your second or third year. Whatever your first start was, show me a better one, better poise, better command of your emotions and the situation than this kid against that team under those circumstances pulled off yesterday. And hey, would I be shocked if he pulled them into the lead in the AFC East? I mean, sorry, the NFC East. I would not be shocked.
I don't see Washington losing out, Skip. Washington's going to have to lose out.
Yeah, but Philly, they wouldn't. Philly's in better shape than Dallas would be. So the worst test, the next tough test for Jalen Hurts is going to be at Kyler next week because Kyler's defense was roaring yesterday at the Giants. Then the Eagles go to Dallas. I'd have to go Eagles, as much as I hate them. And then they play Washington head-to-head at home in the last game.
Right.
Well, Washington has Seattle and then Carolina, which they should be able to beat Carolina. But
if they win one game, they'd win the division. All they got to do is win one game.
Let's see, if Philly won out, that would be 7-8-1. They would win on that, but
the tie. Yeah. Because Washington has 6 wins right now, so they need to. Washington
has 6 wins, but remember, Philly's got that tie against Joe
if
Burrow.
Philly wins out, Philly would win the division.
Yeah, okay, I got it. And
because they would have to beat Washington, so they would have to.
Listen, I would not bet against Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that front now. Now you talk about it. They put on the show yesterday. Washington's front 4, they put on the show.
Well, they had to because their quarterbacks were both so bad. And Alex Smith, God bless him, I'm knocking on wood. He's got some calf injury, but they said it didn't look that bad. The x-rays were fine, negative. But he was horrible. He had a QBR of 9, and that's when he was healthy, right?
Yes, it wasn't going good.
Yeah, I mean,
and the best thing to happen, I mean, they got a pick 6, and they got a scoop and score.
They did.
That's basically their points.
That was it. Those were their 2 touchdowns. They didn't score an offensive touchdown.
So, Skip, give the young man credit. He played unbelievable yesterday, given the circumstances. The Saints were a tough team, but anybody that's convinced that Taysom Hill is an everyday quarterback.
Still up for grabs.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
The jury is still out.
Because, Skip, you see what happens when a team can put points on the board and you just can't shut them down like they did Denver?
Yep.
So we're going to find out. I think, you know what, they might put some little magic potion. Drew Brees is going, we're going to take our time with Drew. No, you're not. Because guess what? You're not in first anymore. The Packers are in first place in the NFC. And they're playing unbelievable.
Which is why Drew Brees may get rushed back to a game next Sunday at New Orleans against Kansas City.
Remember, they're going to take their time with Drew. They got time. They like what they got with Taysom Hill. I will not be shocked if I don't see Drew Brees going head-to-head with my homeboy. Because if you play like that against you played against Jalen Hurts, against Patrick Mahomes, he'll have 50. He'll put 50.
Is it possible we'd see Jameis Winston?
Maybe. That may be a possibility.
Maybe. So I still like Taysom Hill, but I love Jalen Hurts. And this is just me, and I don't want to pile on your man, as you say, walk it to him. I say give it to him. That game yesterday was the kind of game in which he would have had 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 lost fumbles.
Yes.
And Jalen had none of the above.
He would have held on to the ball far too long, lied guys to get to him, and the ball would come out when he hits the dirt. Jalen Hurts did the right thing. First read's not there, I'm gone. I'll see y'all. I'll see you at the first down marker.
Well, now I do not. I wouldn't want to be in the shoes of the Philly Brass or Dougie P now, because they have a huge decision confronting them.
Well, Skip, we got 3 more games. Just let it play out. You don't have to make a decision. Obviously, he's played well enough. I mean, I don't know what the debate is. You would not I can see, Skip, if he had got nicked or something, they lost the game. We're like, oh, man. But no, he won.
But they're still stuck with him going to next year.
Oh, yeah.
Carson
But
Wentz.
I'm saying, this year, you're not in a position. You're in a position, Jalen Hurts, unless he gets hurt. I'm going to ride him out.
Yep. Better.
Find a way to win games. Well, unfortunately for me, the Vikings didn't find a way to get it done against the Bucs yesterday. Did Brady prove they are serious contenders? Oh, and by the way, Zeke, he's a bit too optimistic maybe about the Cowboys playing.